Rick, at first, hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
And what are you doing these days since Corona got everybody locked down or closed?
I'm more busy now than I was before. I teach 3 days a week. I teach drums 3 days a week. I used to go to schools and colleges, but I now do it all on Zoom. I work out. I'm studying for my grade 3 jazz piano exam. I did jazz piano 2. What was it? Nearly 2 years ago now. I'm now doing the grade 3. I'm trying to teach myself guitar, and I do half an hour on my drum kit every day to try and stay in the same place. I do all of the administration for the band, so I have to look after royalty monies that come in and talking to the agents about the bookings and so on and so forth. I just made a new deal for the band for 10 years after for America. We were the company called Deco Entertainment, that's DEKO, and they're putting out an album called A Sting in the Tail, the Deluxe edition. We added 4 live tracks to that, one of which is I'd Love to Change the World, which was a hit for the original band in the 1970s in America. That was a big chart hit. And we're going to be doing various streaming concerts. There's a streamed interview with Marcus, with our lead guitarist singer Marcus Pompanti, and that's going out tomorrow on various social media. So all of that needs coordinating, so I'm a busy man.
Yeah, it sounds like that your schedule is fully occupied. So can we stop at your deluxe edition of your 2017 album, A Sting in the Tail? How come that you decided that you will reissue it with more tracks?
Well, that was the decision of the record company, Deco Entertainment. They wanted to, because it had been out in Europe and done very, very well over the last 2 years, they wanted to make it a different product for America. So they wanted to add the live tracks. We did an album subsequent to A Sting in the Tail in Europe called Naturally Live, which of course was a live recording. So they took 4 tracks from that and added them to A Sting in the Tail.
I see. Do you also plan to, let's say, issue some new music?
We will be doing, yeah. The idea is to make an album similar to the very first 2 10 Years After albums in the bluesy vein. The first one was called 10 Years After and was basically a studio recording of our live set at the time. And then we did Undead, which was a live album done at Kluks Kleek, which is the Railway Hotel in West Hampstead in London. I forget that. I think that was 1967 we did that, or 68. So we're going to do something in that sort of vein, you know, with a slow blues on it and some what we call shuffle things, stuff like that. So that's the plan. When that'll be, I don't know, because it'll depend on, we're still locked down here. They're supposed to be opening it up, but we're not sure when that might happen.
Okay, and what's the secret behind the fact that after more than 50, almost 60 years or even more, you are still being active?
No drinking, no drugs. No, I work out every day. Well, every other day I do what's called high intensity interval training, which is, it takes me about an hour, and do a lot of fast cycling over a short period of time. And then some weight training and so on. And then on the other days, I do what I call ab exercises for my abdominal muscles, just generally to keep fit. I also, I cook. I live on my own. I cook for myself, and I try and make sure that it's healthy food, healthy living. The thing that spurs me on, I think, it's the music. Yeah, I did an interview a little earlier, and somebody asked me what it was, and I was just saying that the traveling nowadays is a real bore. I mean, especially flying, because you're hanging around for so long. And sometimes in the past, it's taken me 10 hours to get home from a place in Germany, for instance, going via Frankfurt, and you get delays. And that's only one example. So in future, we're planning to travel by train, which will be easier. Well, it'll be easier on us because you can get up, walk about. you've got more room. I can work. I can do stuff on my laptop. I don't know if you know, but I have an autobiography out called From Headstocks to Woodstock. Did you know about that?
Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, so that's my life story, basically, from when I was born up until Woodstock. And I'm promoting that at the moment. A lot of people who've read it said they really like it, that it's a good read, which is exactly what I wanted it to be. And I do have 2 rough chapters of the follow-on from that started, but whether I'll get it finished or not in my lifetime is another matter. I also have a novel that I'd like to write, and I find it very easy to work on my laptop and write stuff when I'm traveling. So traveling by train would make it somewhat easier as well. And also the beauty of traveling by train is that we can go from London to Paris or Brussels, and then we can get another train from there to wherever we've got to start the tour. Whereas at the moment, we have to fly into somewhere and then probably get another 2-3 hours journey by road to wherever we're going, because you can't. And sometimes if you fly into an area, let's say Dusseldorf, for instance, you've still probably got an hour's drive from the airport to wherever the gig and the hotel are. So going by train is much easier because the train goes into the centre of the town, or the city. So we're looking forward to travelling that way. I think also we'll probably do a lot more streaming concerts as well in the future. I think that could be the new normal in a way, which is not as good as an actual live concert, but I guess it's the second best.
Yeah, probably, since let's say the classic concerts will not be possible for the foreseeable future. But yeah, that's one of the possibilities. But what's your take on the concerts? Because as far as I have had a couple of interviews with other musicians, and they all thought, or most of them thought, that it's okay. I mean, you can play, you can reach out to your fans and also get new fans, but that, speaking money-wise, it's not that big success.
The problem is, we looked at a scenario where maybe we do a 2-hour show. So we were looking at a situation, let's assume that you have, excuse me, in clubs in Germany, we play anything from 500 to 1,000 people. And let's take a scenario, let's suppose we went into a 500-seat venue, and we do 2 shows. So we did, let's say from 7 till 8 or 8 till 9, just 1 hour. Then we have a half an hour break, and then we do a second show for another hour. And we could do that in a semi-acoustic fashion. So we wouldn't need all of the equipment we carry normally. But if there was social distancing, then we will have a problem with the number of people you can get in. So even if you charge a higher price, it probably won't cover what the promoter has to lay out and what we would need to lay out to get there, for instance. That's the problem with it. You can organise the gigs, but it's a question of, as you said earlier, whether you can actually make money on it or not. Because, well, not necessarily make money, but just do enough to cover your costs and maybe a small profit. So that's the difficulty with it. Outdoor venues is maybe better, but we'll see. Again, it depends on what the restrictions may be. Even if we're allowed to break out of lockdown, which we're supposed to be doing by about June, I think, over here, it'll depend then what the other regulations are as to how many people you can have in the place and how they have to be distanced. Although I understand that football stadiums in England will be permitted to be allowed to have 10,000 people, which is better than nothing. And if they're allowed 10,000 people, then it should follow that rock concerts can do the same. But by the same token, you need to compare that to the football clubs having 10,000 people in, and in a stadium, say, like Manchester United, where it's 75,000 people at capacity. So it's just over 10% of the normal crowd, and that's where the problems are.
So can you also tell us where our listeners can follow you, where they can order merch and these things?
Yeah. So the best route is to go to www.10-years-after.co.uk. When you get there is a link to Deco Entertainment. That's DEKO entertainment.com. And there's also a link there to go to Rick, RICLEETYA.com. That's rickleetya.com, where you can order a copy of my book. And if you go there, you can also request when you order the book for a dedication to be put in there, signed by me to you personally. The book is available on Amazon, but you won't get the dedication. You won't get the dedication if you go to Amazon. So that's the routes that you can go to get all of the stuff that we have. There's merchandise available on the 10 Years After website as well.
If we go a bit back in the time, back in 2005, you also performed in Slovenia when you were celebrating the anniversary, the Woodstock anniversary. Can you tell us more about the gig? How do you remember it?
That's a tough question. I seem to remember it fairly well. I think it was a good show, if I remember rightly. I remember we went to visit the caves there, aren't there?
Correct, yeah, the Postojna cave, yes.
Yeah, we went to visit that. That was interesting. I don't remember the details of the gig. I seem to think we went down very well. Were you at the gig?
No, I was too young back then. I was born in '94, so it was a bit too early for me.
Yes, as I say, as far as I recall, it was very good. I can't remember who else was on the bill with us. It probably was a local band, I think.
Actually, as far as I saw, you were on the bill with Iron Butterfly and a few more. Just
it was like a Woodstock.
Yeah, it was. I think 35 years from the Woodstock, the anniversary.
Yeah. Actually, no, that was great touring with those guys. They were a really nice bunch of guys. I got on very well with all of them. I remember Ron very well, the drummer, as well.
Okay, if we talk more about the Woodstock, how do you look back on it? I mean, it was an event that changed the popular culture, the people of those generations. So how do you look back on it? Do you think that this kind of event will be possible today, or it would be more, let's say, its spirit will not be that original, that pure, so to say, than it was back then?
You'll have to read my book. No, I think the nice thing about Woodstock, as I recall, I think it will always be remembered, as you rightly said, for its cultural aspect. Well, hopefully it will. You know, it did what it said on the tin. It was a festival of peace, love, and music. As far as I'm aware, there was no violence there. The people lived there for more than 3 days in not the easiest of circumstances, you know, with the storm and the rain and the mud and the lack of food until Wavy Gravy got his canteen up and running. They had to have food parcels dropped in from helicopters. But the beauty of that was that they would share everything. Whoever caught the food parcel from the helicopter would open it and then share it with the neighbours, who they'd probably only known a couple of days at the most. So I think there's a message there and a lesson there for us all, that we could live. If 300,000 people can do that for let's say 5 days without serious problems, then it must be possible for the rest of the world to do that. You know, we need to take lessons from that and be in peace and love our neighbours. You know, I mean, it's one of the commandments in the Bible. You know, love thy neighbour as thyself. And I'm not a religious man in that sense. I just happen to know that commandment, and I think that's the way we should live our lives. The trouble is that you have all these people wanting to be richer than somebody else and want to be more powerful than somebody else, so it gets lost along the way. There are places where it still happens, but they seem to me to be getting fewer and far between. Maybe I'm just getting to be a jaded old man, but yes, I think that's the thing with Woodstock. It was a one-off, and it will be remembered that way. The parallel I always give is the year after, in 1970, when we played the Isle of Wight festival. If you go back, just a little bit to Woodstock, when the kids started to break the fences down, then Michael Lang and Artie Kornfeld, I think, were very smart, and they decided to declare it a free festival. And I think that probably saved a lot of trouble. With the Isle of Wight, they wouldn't do that. The business had moved in there. People were there to try and make money out of the festivals. They realized if they sold a lot of tickets, they could make a lot of money. And when the kids started pulling the fences down at that festival, they beat them with nightsticks and set dogs on them. It was a totally different ball game. Luckily, we'd left before that started happening. But it wasn't Woodstock by any shape, form or shape. There have been concerts bigger than Woodstock since, Live Aid, for example. But I don't think the spirit was quite the same, because they were modern events with modern facilities. There were plenty of concession stalls and stuff like that, which is in fact the way the Woodstock site is now as well. Somebody interviewed me. We went there in 2009 on a Heroes of Woodstock tour, and somebody interviewed me backstage and said, well, so what do you think of the Woodstock Country Club? And that's basically what it is now. It's and you ask about, would it be able to do a Woodstock again? Not the way the original one was done. I mean, there was no cover over the stage. It would break all health and safety regulations, so it wouldn't be allowed now to go in that shape. How the towers stayed up in the storm, I have no idea. If you look at the film, you can see that they're really very unstable, and it's a beauty that nobody was hurt. Because if those towers had come down with the PA systems on them, somebody would have been seriously hurt, maybe even killed. So it was very good. It was also a very lucky event, in that respect.
Okay, next to the music and your writing and many other things, what else is keeping you busy lately? Did you start to do any new things now, since we are in the middle of Corona pandemic?
Not really. My days are pretty full. I mean, I get up. Sometimes I do a workout first, which will take me an hour. Quite often I do my piano first, which is half an hour. Then I do half an hour on guitar and then half an hour on the drums. And then I'll do my workout, probably have a bite to eat, and then get on with the admin. As I say, this thing, all this promotion as well that I'm doing at the moment has taken up the last 4 or 5 weeks, and will continue for the foreseeable future. The album is released in America on the 19th of March, which is not that long ago now, not that far away now. And we are going to be doing filming a video for streaming purposes. Not quite sure when, probably in April, back end of April, when Chicken and Colin and myself, that's Colin Hodgkinson, our new bass player. New, he's been with us, blimey, he's been with us 7 years now. And Chick Churchill and myself, we want to get our second vaccination before we go anywhere outside of our own areas, because then that way hopefully we'll be protected from even if we caught COVID, it won't be as serious, as I understand it. So that's about it. I mean, it's just I can't really put my finger on it, but I'm busy all the time. I haven't learnt anything new other than trying to do my piano studies. learn something new with that every day, really.
Yeah, the piano seems to be interesting. I started to learn a guitar, but I don't have the patience. I mean, I respect everyone who starts to learn, and everybody who plays the music, because you guys need to have lots of patience, and also that you are keeping that you're staying in the shape and so on. And really, I started to play a guitar, but then I became music journalism. Then became my thing.
Every instrument, it doesn't matter which one it is, you have to have discipline with it. Otherwise, you won't go anywhere. And there comes a time when, even if you're what they call natural at it, there comes a time when you have to put in a lot of hours. I mean, half an hour a day, to be honest with you, especially at my age, is not long enough. But it's about what I can manage. I'm trying to work it so that at weekends I'm going to be doing up to 2 hours a day on all my instruments, because that way, hopefully, I'll progress more. But also, as you get older, your retention is not so good. And the other thing is that I've noticed it with the drums. If I practice for more than, say, 20 minutes to half an hour at a time, my brain starts to switch off. So I have to put it into periods that are shorter than that. So maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes tops is enough, and then have a break, say, of 10 to 15 minutes, and then carry on again. So trying to do 2 hours in that respect is going to become nearer 3 because of putting in the breaks, you know. So there's a lot of different things you have to apply as you get older. But I do the piano for 2 reasons: to keep my and the guitar, to keep my fingers moving, because I have a little bit of arthritis in them, and also to keep my brain active. That's one of the major reasons as well. Because I understand that if you try and play an instrument or learn an instrument, then your chances of picking up Alzheimer's are less.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's something to do with, like, if you don't use the brain enough, then the synapses, you know, the electrical, they get sort of glued up, you know. It's like they have glue on them, so they don't operate as well. And so that's one of the reasons I do the instruments as well.
Oh, interesting. Okay, Rick, it was an honor. Thank you for your time. Looking forward to hearing your new projects that are coming, and also I hope to see you live somewhere, or in Slovenia, or who knows where.
Wonderful. Thanks.
Okay, much. Rick, thank you once again, and see you around.
Yeah, I hope to see you sometime. We'll maybe make it back to Slovenia again.
Yeah, or somewhere near. I mean, we can, as soon as we can travel, and if you are near, sure, I will be seeing you, definitely.
Brilliant. You're welcome. Great to meet you.
Bye.
All the best. Goodbye.